All right, folks, so welcome to the India Market Review for the week ending Friday, 15th July 2016. So we're meeting again after 2 weeks, and well, quite a lot has happened. I'm sure there are a lot of happy people out there who've made quite a bit of money in the last 2 weeks, and also there's another group of people who are probably feeling that they've missed out of the rally and things like that. So a lot of events have come and gone. Brexit, Raghuram Rajan retiring or leaving, um, monsoon very much on track, and that concern is out. And uh, there is increasing likelihood of the GST getting passed in India, um, and the goods and services tax, with the Congress having reduced its intransigence now that it's been sort of cornered in the Rajya Sabha. The US markets, most importantly, have hit new life highs, and that's one very, very important thing to, well, maybe start off with in today's session. So at least there's one major global economy actually going, you know, to levels it has never gone before. And the back of, well, apparently good unemployment data and some economic data. So on the economic side, a lot of positive triggers, a lot of supportive uh, or like factors supportive of a bullish market, which are sort of there in the system right now, right? So if you look at the S&P 500, so that's a broad market index from the US with 500 stocks in it. You can clearly see that it's made a new life high. So this is still yesterday, and from 2120 it's gone to 2160, and technically looking quite strong, I would think. So this is definitely a significant and a major achievement that should not be overlooked. I'll just keep two green lines for now, and you see the same thing in the Nasdaq, I think, or no? Okay. So Nasdaq looks like it's still a little shy of its life high. Yep, quite a bit shy actually, about almost 3%, but nevertheless quite healthy, and showing a bit of weakness now with the red candles and all. Might correct a bit, maybe 49.50, etc., but should probably go up. So technology side a little bit weak perhaps, and then we have the Dow Jones index, the one that the whole world looks at, and that's broken out yesterday. Nice strong green candle, everything healthy on the technical side, and well, what more can we really expect? So this is how it stacks up, and likely to, so these are like multi-year breakouts, 2015, 2016, so triple top, etc. And if you look at it on a, let's say, weekly basis, you can see that it's been a good strong three green candles, and well, you can see the sort of strength which is there in those candles, in my opinion. If you look at the monthly, it doesn't look so impressive, but nevertheless that's a monthly strong candle. And remember, that's only half the month over, right? So with half the month over, we've got a pretty strong candle. Now if it of course corrects, you could end up getting a doji or even a red candle for the rest 2 weeks, but on the other hand, you could see this going much higher, right? Okay. Right. So on the US side, everything looking very healthy. We now come to Europe, and let's move back to daily. and Europe, of course, quite a distance away from its life highs. Another unfortunate incident in France today with the truck murder that happened. God knows what the world is coming to. But anyhow, the markets all pretty healthy, right? Going up. Is this some? Yeah. All right. DAX breaking out of that resistance zone at 10,000, so that is important to note. The CAC at 40 also showing some strength above all the long-term moving averages, so that's also something important to note. And well, for whatever it's worth, how significant could be debated is the FTSE having broken out of its major resistance level at 6,300 and then actually going much higher from there to 6,600 after all the Brexit drama. But you have to remember that if you were invested in pounds, then well, you're sort of still you're back to sort of your pre-Brexit forex valuation, for the simple reason that well, the pounds has fallen 10-15%, right? So yeah, that's where it is, and at least on the FTSE, it very much looks like a flag pattern there with more potential upside. Maybe another 600 points on the FTSE is in the making. I think there's a Bank of England meeting around the corner next week or next month, and there's a strong expectation that there will be a rate cut. So that could be another boost for the British index. And well, compared to rest of the uh, European indices, it's not very far from its own life high of 7,100. That's about a 10% move from here, which could happen on the back of a rate cut and things like that. And of course, we have the new Prime Minister of Britain, and that's well, should set things rolling. And hopefully, Mrs. May should be looking at providing a lot more certainty, clarity, roadmap for the Brexit process, which should calm the markets down perhaps, and you know uh, um, give more confidence that things would perhaps be orderly and not as chaotic as perhaps the market expected. Right. So that's good news, bullish news across the world. If anything, there is some sort of consolidation, but in the US especially, you could very clearly see that things were very gung-ho. So if we come to India, so since we've taken a break for 2 weeks, I don't propose to go into too much details of individual stocks today, unless we find some really good setups. But let's look at the overall sectors and see where things are. Now, first of all, as far as the Nifty is concerned, we hit 8,600 today, and uh, our yeah. All right, so the high was 8594.8. On the futures side, it did go, of course, higher beyond 8,600. So just shy of that, a lot of gaps there which have not yet been filled. Now we're getting a pause. Oh, and Reliance results have come out today evening. Exceptionally good results, it seems. So that could be a kicker for the market tomorrow. And yeah, I was looking for indicator setup. So the only concern, if anything, is actually a little tentative volumes, as you can see in the last 2-3 days. A little iffy, difficult to read this volume picture a bit, but if I look at it on the weekly chart, clearly bullish, clearly up. And well, again, we are also not very far from our own life high, which is on the closing basis 8937, and on a high basis 9119, right? So another 500-600 points, and this could really happen in the next few weeks, I would think, based on all the factors we spoke about in the opening comments today, right? Clearly, one of the important things to note on the weekly basis is that we have cleared a sort of zone of resistance here, and 8.8 is probably the next level, right? 8.8, and 9,000 should just happen, maybe just in a jiffy, I would think, right? So this is how it is. Um, for anybody investing for the next few weeks, one should only be long. There is absolutely no question of being short. So that's been the story from March. So again, March, April, May, June, July, 5 months of straight bullishness, except 2 months of consolidation. So somebody was asking me how far. Well, you never know how far, but one thing is very clear, that this is not a market to be shorting. Any and every opportunity to go long on any level, on dips, etc., should be grabbed and taken advantage of. It's just a matter of time that we will get into a bearish or a consolidation phase, and after that it'll be a definitely different story. So strike while the iron is hot. So let's look at individual sectors now. So you have the auto index, and well, first major index that you see that has made a new life high. So that is something extremely significant to note, right? So the auto index at a new life high, and well, keep in mind longer term factors like good decent monsoon should give a kicker to the rural and then to the national economy. Then you have potentially the GST passing, and then July, August, September, and then you have the Diwali. Time flies, and you just suddenly are into a festive season. A lot of new models coming up, and some existing models are doing extremely well for some companies. So all in all, looking good. So definitely, well, this is a very unusual situation for those of us who are regular on IMRs to find one thing right in the opening sector, which is like, making a life high. So there you have it. So that's auto. Looking at Bank Nifty, what a move, right? So again, sorry, I'm on the daily. I'll go back to weekly. That was on daily rather. This is daily. Let's go. That was weekly. Sorry, I'm going back to daily. And on the daily, just a teeny weeny bit of hesitation today. We've come to 19,000 for all practical purposes. Again, a lot of gaps which have not been closed. But yeah, no sign of weakness at all, in my opinion. We've got plenty of strength coming up, and again, just another sector to be long on. There was some news about the government of India doing some recapitalization of the PSU banks. So if that comes through, that will be another booster for the PSU side of the market. On which account, let's look at PSU Bank Index, and well, there you have it. PSU Bank Index has broken out of an important resistance today, or rather yesterday, and that is 2860. So this comes all the way from 2012, and if you go to weekly, then you can see again weekly good candle, right? Yeah, so that's an important find. So PSU banks, many of them are probably above their own important individual resistance zones now, and that sector overall has just become an even stronger buy. It was for almost 2 months at least, but now the evidence on the upside is even stronger. Okay, so both private sector banks, mostly the Bank Nifty, and the PSU banks doing well. Wouldn't be surprised if maybe the PSU banks start outperforming the private sector banks now for a while. And then we look at capital goods. So I just floating around today, really not doing much. Looks like, but still uh, sort of a hesitating breakout in the flag formation, but too early to to say anything. But in the last 2 months that it's broken out through the longer term moving averages, definitely on a strong path to recovery. That's no doubt about it. Okay, FMCG. Ah, so we are on FMCG also at not very far from its life high. So the ITC and the HULs, etc., should you know, be looked upon. There was a news article last week in Business Standard about how some of the uh, multinational FMCG companies are actually gaining market share in the last few months, and in spite of the Patanjalis and all of that, they are actually doing better. Found that quite interesting. So another point to keep at the back. So we kept. I mean, there's a lot of newspaper used to talk about the threat of the Swadeshi guys. Well, so far looks like if nothing else, it's brought out the more aggressive, more competitive nature in the MNC guys, and they're going to fight tooth and nail anyhow. So this is definitely looking a little maybe hesitant right now. You can see the consolidation for the last 1.5 weeks. Big red candle here. So a bit of a I wouldn't jump in. Might jump in with autos and banks, but probably not FMCG right now. But on the other hand, like I said, because of the good monsoons and all, it's definitely a space that one should definitely be looking at. Okay, let's look at IT. We'll look at the CNX IT. So Infi came out with disappointing results. Don't know about TCS, right? And well, it's just gone. So yeah, of course, quarterly results are now upon us, and there'll be a lot of stocks with specific stock-specific news. So this is the result of Infi, and tomorrow on Reliance, we might see a big up move for all you know, and that will be on account of Reliance's excellent results. Now, having said all that, these are one of the times in the year when you need to be a little careful about application of technical analysis, because events become more significant and more important than the levels themselves. And as you can see, you get a level, you get a event like this, and news. I can't think of any approach, process, analysis, um, technical or fundamental or whatever, maybe looking at the tea leaves or the stars, that would have told you that this sort of a fall would have happened, right? But again, the beauty of TA came down to a nice, beautiful support level, which we put months back, and at least for now, seems to have stopped there. But with the way it's looking, should probably break down, perhaps more. But on the other hand, this could actually be a very good buying opportunity for some of these stocks lower down. Okay, so when we review those stocks, we'll have a look. Let's look at reality. All right. So if you've been in the market, you'll know that reality has been doing amazing moves in the last several weeks, 10, 20, 30% moves. Okay, please note that this index itself has gone from about 1000 to 1500, 1600. That's a 60% move, almost week on week without a pause. And only now we're getting some sort of hesitation, and this is on a weekly chart. If you look on a daily chart, then moving, but and has cleared all the long-term moving averages, and it's just breathtaking in the sense of how much recovery has happened in such a short period of time, and you know, um, there's really no sign of significant weakness right now. Of course, there is a bearish engulfing here. There is some sort of short-term weakness here. It has gone down from the upper Bollinger Band, all that. But even if it comes down, I don't know, 100, 200, 300 points, it'll be definitely a good place to go long and get into the stock, get into the sector rather, in case and a lot of people would have missed this opportunity in this rally. So at some time correction, yes, and then along again. Please note this gap here. Let me put it out. Sorry. Yeah. Right. So in case this gap closes somewhere at around 1450 or something, that's about 10% fall, which could happen. Doesn't look like it'll happen right now. It's all bullish, a wooden short. But if it does, then that'll be a good time to enter. Okay, so realty and then metal. Right, so metal is also done exceptionally well. Uh, last 2 weeks, just huge up moves, and then now some small candles. Right, it's really run away far from its long-term moving averages. Right, but again, nothing, no divergences, no weaknesses. It could perhaps go all the way to 10,000 before maybe it takes some support, sorry, some resistance, and then, or maybe even consolidates and then decides whatever to do next. Okay, so yeah, please note something that we had written about 3-4 months back, a false breakdown here. Right, so I hope you can see it. Right, and if you had acted on it, then 1 second. Right, so as I was saying, 10,000 quite possible, and then a correction, and then you get in again on the metal side. Very, very impressive move there. What have we missed? Healthcare, reality, we had a look. Healthcare, BSC power. So BSC power, again, beauty of TA on display into a resistance 2045, and then sort of halted there for 2 days, came down a bit, and then attempting to move back. So again, a pretty good recovery from 1600 to 2000, and we're definitely going to 2800. Once it breaks out, we're going to 2200. So that's about a 10% move. Nothing very significant. I think in the power space, okay, autos and all that will probably give you a much better opportunity, in banks. All right, and finally healthcare. All right, so I was definitely not expecting this. That's a 14,000, 15,000, 16,000. Okay, 10% move one way, and right, it's clearly made a flag now. Right, just till some time back, I remember the healthcare space was sort of divided between some stocks which were quite bullish and others that were quite bearish. Looking at this, and I'm wondering if that situation has changed and everything has become bullish, or is it some stocks that have really rallied up? So this is definitely a surprise, looking like a flag. You're talking about a potential another 10% mover in the healthcare space. All right. So 17,000, they're about 16.9. should be the next resistance. And that's, yeah, approximately 1,000 points from where it is right now. It's risen up 1,000, more than 1,000, but give or take, nice, between an important support and important resistance and some really nice you know, numbers, round off numbers, all sort of adding up, I would think. Okay, this is fine. Some actually nice potential Elliott wave counts here, which are very possible, but a little premature to talk about them right now. Okay, fine. And yeah, I like what I see. All right, so I think with this abundance of opportunities, we'll quickly go through a set of stocks from across some of the sectors which are strong, and I'm quite sure we're going to find plenty of opportunities, right? So starting with autos this time. So let me go to auto. And start with Maruti. Looking strong, no doubt about that. And quite close to its life high, right? So definitely something, and volumes picking up on the way up. Looking a little iffy because of the candles, I would think, but longer term clearly strong. You can see on that weekly. 4,600, 4,800 is definitely on the cards. May not happen this month, but again, I think one caveat I have to mention before continuing with individual stocks is we are in our results quarter, so be careful. Have your results calendar in front of you and make sure you know what result is there in case you are in that stock and could, do extremely well or give you a miserable loss. Alright, so 4648 on Maruti. If it comes down to 4.2, it'll probably be a really good place to, buy. M&M has reached a new life high, alright, and formed a sort of flag, I would say. And I've done that after a bit of consolidation, not a bit, actually 2 years, I think. Yep. Okay. So 2015, 2016, yeah, 2 years of consolidation, almost in a rectangle, 1,200, 1,400, should go to 1,600 is what I would think, and probably much higher, right? So 1,600 would be the target and plenty of support below 1,450, 1,400, etc. Tata Motors, so JLR exports become cheaper, uh, but the income becomes less. Can the sales increase to beat the drop in profits? We'll just have to wait and see. But this stock is, ongoing from 500 to 600, and could just do that in the coming 1 or 2 months, and then after that it's a new life high. Uh, yeah, new life high, and I would think once it breaks 600, 750,000 rupees. All right. Looking at Bajaj Auto, oh well, there it is sitting on a triple top. Uh, Sitting on a triple top, which you can see on the weekly basis also, right? And that was 2014, 15, 16. So another stock hesitatingly went up there. You can see the drop in volumes, a bit of increase, 2750, 3000 on Bajaj Auto, definitely, yeah, coming. And again, monsoons, rural economy, all that augurs well for especially these two-wheeler stocks. Alright, so this is a double top on Hero Motors and 3-4. That's a nice 1.5 year consolidation, right? That in the monthly charts you can see this in the volume also. Somebody with a lot of patience, 1 to 2 years horizon, and with a deep faith in technical analysis, well, you could be looking at a move of almost 800 rupees. So that means 4,000 bucks. Let it happen in a year, but that is distinctly possible, right? All right. So that, and then all right. So that's autos. Let's look at let's look at pharma. Pharma had really done exceptionally well. Okay, so Dr. Reddy's. Alright, so here's the consolidation. Right, if you were with me on IMRs, right, 6 months of consolidation, a breakout that happened. Okay, when that was not really the breakout, came back down 3,000, and then after 3,000 it's at 3,600, and all this has happened in about 4 weeks. So 20% move, 4 weeks, and it's still looking like it wants to go up. I would label this as a flag. Some weakness on the MACD, right, RSI, etc. But another 500, 600 rupee move on Dr. Reddy's could definitely happen, and that would just about take it to 442, a little bit shy of its life high, right, 44. So that is where Dr. Reddy's is. Sun Pharma still struggling, and like I said, not a market to look at shorting, so don't even want to look at it. But yes, if for some reason market does badly, then this will be the one to short, but we'll review that later. Cipla struggling still, has just been able to come above 500. Could find strength suddenly, but nothing like Dr. Reddy's. Lupin looking like a very, very good setup. It's come there, dancing with the long-term moving averages, 1700. I think next week, again, results, don't forget. You might just see this stock at 1900 in 1 or 2 weeks. So Lupin is something you should look at. Should have your results calendar, like I said. Or of Divi is looking a little iffy on in my opinion. The resistance of around 1150, 1175 needs to break, then we can review. Oro Pharma, same thing. Glenmark, same thing. All right, so let's look at Biocon. That had made a life high, massive move from 550 to 750, 200 rupees, and then well, looks like its downfall has come now. There's some another spike on news, I would think, and then now it's not been able to go above 750. Too early to say that it could come back all the way to 550. I don't expect that at this point. But this is, like I've said, a company sitting on a potential and a lot of profitable pipeline in its labs. And if it comes to 650, watch. Don't short it. Uh, though actually the volumes are quite in favor of shorting, but I would still say don't short it unless you're a really good short-term trader for 1 day, 2 days, or intraday. Could come to 650, or I would say likely to come to 650 once it breaks 700, and if it forms a nice base there, then you could look at getting in. Okay, since I just saw it, I'm putting it up because idea is a stock that I was tracking and following for a long time. And why? Because of this line that you see here at 100, 101, 2008, 2009, 2011, 2012, 2013, and 2016 twice, right? So that's a multi-year support, and the IMR, I had said, those who are willing to take the risk just go long on this. Well, it's paid off so far, except this volume. Again, this was a massive you know strategic sale. That's why the volume is conked like this. But if you look at the green volume, green sticks here, I would say that buying and accumulation is happening. uh, so if I can take that out, right? So you can see again last 3-4 days good moves. Today nice strong green candle at 100-day moving average there. Next stop 121. So another 10% move on idea, I think, is distinctly possible, right? So look at that. 2-3 rupees, it will keep getting beaten down, but 120. Actually, if you look at it from a relative strength perspective, one shouldn't buy this. It's below the long-term moving averages. It's going to struggle while it goes up. Once it clears, then 140, 150. But then thing is, while it's doing that, are you okay with seeing other stocks run away? Right. Okay, one more to I think look at is Z, because that's made virtually new life highs. Again, no trades on this, but have been sort of mentally monitoring it. And again, to reiterate, it's sort of euphoric 2001 peak is around 800. You discount that, this is at around 470 or 500. That's still a 30-40% up move that could happen slowly, steadily, but it will happen. So anyone with that sort of long-term horizon, there's definitely something to keep in mind. 440, 470, and then 500, 520, all of those definitely coming. All right. What are the other sectors we said which were doing well? Yeah, so let's go to this. Okay, since it's here, reality and all. So DLF, right? 80 rupee stock is now 160, so it's doubled in price, doubled in valuations. If you're willing to go with that Vadra thing, and that time, the government trying to uh, DLF associated with it and all that, nothing happened. Now the stock is doubled, and again strong accumulation. Sorry, strong buying, weak selling, and consolidation right now. Once it clears 165, 170, or if it comes to let's say 140, just buy it. You can see that. Let's see if I can stretch this back and how. All right, so that's like a 7-year downtrend line, on the verge of breaking that, right? So it first broke several other downtrend lines like this one for 1-2 years. Now a 7-year one, once it clears 170, and then who knows, goes all the way to 260 by the end of the year or next year. Never know. All right. Unitech, right? So what a fantastic move. So congratulations to Ramesh for having the courage to invest in it. So 4 rupee stock is now an 8 rupee stock, right? And we just said buy, buy, buy sometime, I think here. So that's 100% mover, and it's heading to uh, 10 for sure. At any time, if it corrects, keep buying more. You can see the volumes, I think. Yep, you can see the massive volumes, consistent volumes, which have not been there for what, almost the most of this year, all happening week after week, week after week, week after week. So this stock is being accumulated big time by big guys, institutional or HNIs or promoters that we don't know. And if you went and looked at the bulk deal and block deal data for the last, I think, 1 month, you'll see massive number of Unitech deals, and somebody willing to look at that and look at possibly find out who the buyers were, you would probably be very pleasantly surprised, right? So yeah, so that's where this is. Correction could happen to 6 rupees, 7 rupees. You never know when the correction time comes, but this is definitely headed to 10 bucks. Okay. GMR, okay, not. Alright, so this was another one. JP6 has become 12. Right, amazing. The moved across the long-term 200-day moving average also. Right now looking like a flag, but this is not for the faint-hearted, that's for sure. Right. 12 rupee 50 stock has become 11 rupees. You lost more than 10%, and it's moved 100% in a month, 10% in a week. So that's the sort of things you should be looking out for or prepared for if you get into this. I would say flag, that's for sure. So 8 to 11, another 3-4 rupees, so that makes it 15 rupees. Right, nice psychological number, I would think. Right, this is yeah, definitely looking at 15 bucks. IB real estate, so went from 50 to 100, but has not been able to break out of that 8800 zone, and I would have thought it would actually break out given the sort of volumes that we saw in May, June, and I think I also said that in many of the sessions, right? But clearly it's chosen to consolidate actually 100 to 88. MACD is settling down. RSI seems to be settling down. Right, premature to say buy, but if you are a high risk person, then yes, you could consider that, and that will probably be the level to watch out for. 85, maybe 80, good support. Once it turns around, once it clears 100, that's what it's really got to do. Then much higher levels are quite possible. This could be a nice long-term not long-term. Let me rephrase that. It's a multi-week flag. On the other hand, right? So went from 55 to 100, now consolidated for almost 2 months, and another 50 rupees, another 100% move over the next, who knows, 3 months, 6 months is quite possible, which very nicely takes it to about 150 bucks here, which is multiple resistances in 2009, 2011. So I'd be real. It had been doing well, could be giving you another opportunity to enter at around 85, and could drop to 70. That's the only thing, around 85 levels. Even in the short term, not a good trading opportunity, but from an investor's perspective, setups are looking attractive. HDIL, so went to 110, now settling down with, I guess, the rest of the reality pack cooling off, distinctly lower volumes, right? Good volumes on its way up, distinctly lower volumes on its way down. I guess it's very likely to hit 100, and then with 100 hold psychological mark, and then can go back and it will go to 110, and then once it's 110, then much higher levels are for sure happening. All right. Okay, so let's look at some of our banks. Axis Bank. Okay, actually I want to look at PSU banks first. Right, so where is State Bank of India? Yeah. So SBI. Let me just, that is, even if I take the extreme level and take this, alright, so that's where SBI is, and has gone from 170 to 230, Maybe it goes to 240 also. It could come to 220 back, but that's a really big move. 160 to or 170 to 270, 50% move. India's largest bank, not by market cap, I think. Um, could come to 220, but it's in a no man's land. It's in no man's land in the sense that it's between a support and a resistance, and the volumes are, well, quite honestly, little iffy. So could buy, but buy to the strict stop loss, where I think you'll find better trades. Oh, look at this. Punjab National Bank 80 to 120. Wow, wow. It's unbelievable. Look at how strong the green candles are, how weak all the other consolidation candles are. And even today it's like really done well, and just massive buying going on the stock. Right, so whew, I don't know what to say. I'm just a little speechless because clearly lost the opportunity if one was trying to get in, but I'm trying to figure out, is there another option to get in, and for my life I can't see one. Uh, because you buy, it could, go into this consolidation, come to 110, take 20-30% off your entry point, and then move up. So on something like this, sometimes you just got to take a hard call. Either you stay out of a stock like this and wait for a correction, but that also means it will go to 200 before it corrects. On the other hand, you just get in, and you know if a correction happens, you just ride it out, and if it doesn't, and if it goes up, then good. You get a lot of money without losing time and opportunity. It's a tough choice, and either of those choices are actually difficult ones. They're not for the faint-hearted again. So if you are the aggressive guy, then buy now or buy wait for a correction and buy either. Right? And if you are conservative person, then just stay out of it and find something else. All right, Bank of Baroda clearly not moved. Right now, very tough to say. I generally think of PSU banks as just one group with different names. Why has Bank of Baroda not moved the way PNB has moved? I have no clue. But sometimes they just take turns. For all you know, Bank of Baroda could be shooting to 200 in the next week, but it doesn't look like that right now. There's nothing compelling on this chart to say enter. Bank of India, well, okay, what's interesting about it is, yes, you have definitely huge accumulation happening here in second half of June, first part of July, and it's crossed the 200-day moving average, right? So it's doing a dance, may come all the way down to 100, but it's got plenty of resistances now between 125, 130 to 140. So it could either just shoot up, or it could correct, and then again tough choice one. Not really one of those what are called low risk setups. Union Bank, more or less the same thing. All right, this is like sometimes feel like looking for the sake of looking, and I really don't want to do that. Okay. All right, so this is interesting. HDFC, right? So HDFC, massive move today, right? So it's gone from 1002 to 1036, almost 1004 in about 4 weeks, and clearly it's aiming for its life high. Let's look at the volumes. Okay, volumes are a little iffy, right? So it's clearly gone down. The volumes haven't would have preferred to see better volumes on the way up. So that's something just to keep in mind on the volume side. Okay, but yeah, it's definitely headed up. 1.4 is possible. Again, good time to get in is probably. Phew, it's so tough. You could have gotten in retrospect. If you get in now, could correct. But on the other hand, just like your PNB situation, so whichever way, I mean, it's surely once it's breaking 1400, getting to 1500, 1600 and much higher. The question is, are you okay with that, and are you willing to, take the moves against you while that happens? Mm, all right, so let's look at some of our private sector banks. HDFC Bank has made a new life high. All right, so HDFC on its way up. HDFC Bank has made a new life high, and there we are. So 1190 went there. Just get a sense of how painful and long and test of patience these things can be. Whole of June, it threatened to go up so many times, did not. Finally, after 4 weeks, it has gone up 2,200. So, right, not bad volumes today. Right, 1,200, 1,250 again coming. Right, so this is one thing which has been a laggard and has just been left behind. Right, so ICICI Bank uh, was there, good buy at around 240, 250 with all those long-term moving averages. 280, if it breaks, then I think it'll just jump in fives and tens all the way to 320 at least. Okay, Kotak Bank, that's on the verge of a new life high. Right, so on the verge of a new life high, 770. It's there, and after that, I think 800,000, 2-3 months should happen. Axis Bank was, if I remember, looking good. Okay, all right. Nice move from 350 to 550, almost one straight line correction, and then 600, 650. All right. I mentioned about Federal Bank, that's why I'm putting it. You can see after how it turned down, some good long-term moving averages, it's gone up. All right. Okay. All right. So let's look at some other sector. Yeah, something else I had been sort of. REC triple bottom 160, also a multi-year support from 2008, 12, 14, and what I had been tracking it, but what took me by surprise was this move from 160 to 200 in about 2 weeks. That's like 40 bucks, almost 20%, right? More than that in 2 weeks, and you know, looking like it will still keep going up there. Right. So next stop 250 is what I would think. Right. So that's, you can see in the weekly chart, a really solid three candles, three green candles, and I don't think this is the end of REC's move. 250 is quite possible. Okay, PFC also, more or less the same setup. Look at that, right? So around 160, 150 multi-year, and then market just for whatever reason decides to shoot up, and you have this big massive move that you see. Tough to predict. 3 months, 2 months, 4 months of just sideways moves, and then 160 to 200 in the blink of an eye almost. All right. IDFC, in my opinion, it's a stock just patiently gathering strength to go to 60. It will be the, I think, first major resistance once it crosses 55, and then who knows, maybe even 80, 90. Right. All right. So let's look at our IT pack in fee. Right, there you have it. So that is why the big drop in CNX IT index went from 1180 to 1050, consolidation for about 2 weeks, but no way that anybody would have seen this coming. So from its low of 1052, it closed at 1072. So tough to say whether this is going to set off a downtrend or this is going to be used as an opportunity to buy. If you look at this on a weekly chart, then looks like it set off on a downtrend about 2 weeks back itself. And if you look for support, I would say maybe, yeah, somewhere there is where there is some reasonable support. That's 950. That's another 10% below this. So I guess more than anything else, just uh, you know, oh, I'm discovering these tools for the first time. All right. Too much of a risk, I would think. So unless you've got some other reason to get in or short, get in or short. Otherwise, I would say stay away. Wipro, right? So Wipro comes to its moving average and just sits there so beautifully. This might actually be okay to buy. I don't know if the results are out. Good support at around 525 on Wipro, as you can see. Right? It's been consolidating for about 2.5 years now. Now, what I'm not sure is whether this is a massive, massive multi-year sort of head and shoulder pattern. You can imagine, one big left shoulder there over 3 months, one big head, and multiple right shoulders. And once it breaks 550, then I think 500, 450 is just going to happen very quickly. So till that time, I would just say stay away, or if you're doing any long or short trades, then watch for 600 on the upside, 530 on the downside, and then get out, review, calm down, be objective, and then take the next re-enter again if you want from a trader's perspective. But from an investor's perspective, just stay away from it right now. All right, so I think the rest of the IT pack more or less reacted to Infi, so I'm not going to comment much on it. I'll just leave that. Reliance. So Reliance results came out tonight, and let me see if I can bring it up. All right, so here you have some of the results that are out. Right, Reliance Q1 beats estimates, profits up 4.4%, GRM surges to 11.5 dollars per barrel, and its pre-tax profit jumps, Reliance Retail pre-tax profit. Wow, that's huge, right? And Reliance Jio has 1.5 million test users on network. Mum on launch date, so it doesn't know when it's doing that. All right. So anyhow, so that and Infi cuts F17 dollar revenue guidance. Right. That's I think the reason why it really got hit. If you're saying the dollar revenue guidance is down, then that's not good. That's not good on the business side itself, right? All right, so I'm not going to get into the details of all this. You can definitely have a look. So Reliance results came out after the markets closed, right? So tomorrow, or rather Monday morning, I don't know, depending on the mood of the market, some people say better than expected. You saw as bet analysts, could it go to 1040 in a blink of an eye, or could it crash to 980? Well, Monday morning you'll know. The only one thing I will say about Reliance, which I've reiterated many times, is that that company, I believe, is going through coming to the end of a major investment capex cycle, a restructuring cycle, not a restructuring, but a capex cycle. And once all that pans out, then it's quite possible that you're going to see some moves that it has not done in many years. Right? It's no need to get into it right now, but again this happens. Price disappeared. Cheh. One second. Alright, so this is the monthly chart. Okay, so there is nothing to see on it on a monthly chart. It's just there and no reason to get in or get out. On the weekly chart, again, it's done many times these massive moves and really gone nowhere and come back. So again, there's no reason to expect a big breakout move this time. But you are seeing higher tops over the last 1.5 years. You are getting well, I wouldn't, you did get lower tops here, but then you got similar tops. And I'm just saying that from a technical perspective, right, so about 1150 is the real level to break out, but once it does that, then big moves possible. All right, so really nothing on the Reliance. It'll be interesting to watch what happens on Monday. Right, so that, and then yeah, I think that's it. What was anything else? Autos. Oh, okay, let's look at metals quickly. Tata Steel. Wow. Definitely was not expecting to see this. So 220, 340, and in the last 3 days 320 to 370. That's like a 10-15% move. So something to do with the UK operations, is it? Right, no idea. Are they getting more or less? But now this looks like it's set for 500 in its sight. So let's just look at this from the weekly perspective. So there you had a massive move from 220 to 350, 4 weeks of consolidation, and then 1 week it goes from 320 to 350. That's the 370. 50 rupees, 15%, 1 week, right? It could have happened 2 weeks back. It could have happened 2 weeks later. You never know. Timing these things is difficult, but you find the pattern. That's what I was sort of showing in the weekly chart here. Then you feel there's some time when it's likely to break out, just get in and then just hold on to your horses. Next stop 500, 550 for Tata Steel. No point having a stop loss on this. JSW Steel, so this is something that has made a new life high after 10 years, so rather 8 or 9 years. And okay, yeah, so 2008, 2010, 2014, that's a triple top after many years, and finally it has been able to break out of that, and it is doing that with really good volumes. Today's volumes were even better. This is impressive, no doubt. And this stock is a 2000 rupee stock. It's just a matter of time. Any and every dip on JSW should be bought, and just hold on to your horses. Disclaimer, I have long positions on this. Right, so 2000 rupees I think is coming. Of course, will take time. I can't say when. With a move like today, where it went up by about 50 bucks, 60 bucks, it could come in 3-4 weeks. You never know, and the sort of buying that happened today. But on the other hand, it could correct to 1400 before it goes back up. Those are really tough things to take a call on, right? So JSW, Jindal, all right. So sitting sweet and pretty, just below the 200-day moving average, and below that is some good support at the 50 and 100-day moving average. Once it breaks 75, it will very quickly go to 90. Sale, it's stuck at 50. There. That's something to keep in mind. 50 is one psychological number. It could jump to 55 also, and that's a 10% move. On the other hand, come to 47, that would be a good support. So a little iffy. Volumes are, you know, not very, what would I say, conducive for a long position. Red candles, a lot of volume, a lot of churning. So an iffy thing. Could trade this through options if you know, buy the 50 call put, and it's one of the ways. If it just moves, you could make a lot of money. Hindalco, its 70 rupee stock has become, or rather 65 rupee stock has become 130 rupee stock in 4-5 months. So yeah, this could go to way higher. Wow, go to 180, 200. Distinct possibilities, right? All right. Hindustan Zinc has broken out and made a new life high. All right. And again, you can see some volume build up that's happening. That long shadow on top looks a little wary right now. So don't get into it with too much of eagerness. I would say wait for this to correct and then get in. And then Vedanta, right, 60 has become 160. All right, yeah. Wow. Then very, very strong accumulation. Anyhow, whereas those are volume, yeah. So you can see the price volume trend and the OBV and how strongly, these have actually moved up. And again, in this zone where the stock trended down, you can see the OBV and the PVT really didn't go down except in that last, price related and the volume then. And after that, it just zoomed up, right? So really, really impressive and useful volume studies for this, right? So obviously in the IMRs, I don't go through all the templates and all the sheets that I have. They're all there for different reasons, but you can build yours and see what you need to use and what's useful for you. Okay. All right. So with that, I think we'll close the session for today. Plenty of opportunities as you saw. Just to reiterate, do not short anything. There is opportunity in almost every sector. Autos, banks, realty, and metals, right, are the main ones, I think. At some point, if there is a correction, just patiently wait through it, wait for good supports, and then get in. And I think the real challenging question for next week is, while there are some very good opportunities, it's a iffy thing in terms of the best low risk moves are over, and we are in quite a few stocks in the sort of not here, not there zone, and then you're wondering what to buy, not buy. Well, can't be helped. Like I said, you're not willing to go through with the losses and all, then please stay out, wait for a correction, or wait for a resistance to break. You will buy higher, but you will buy safer. Okay? All right. And finally, lastly, do not forget that it's events again, events quarter, and be very, very clear before trading to have your results calendar in front of you, and uh, make sure that you know that the result is over before you trade, because if you don't, you saw what Infi did, and you're going to get many, many situations, both on the positive and the negative side, right? So just be aware of event risk. Okay. So great. So that brings us to the end of today's session. Uh, Hopefully it was useful. And see you again next week on Friday, God willing. And you have a happy week, Makarimaka, and have a great weekend. Thank you and good night.